Hello, YouTube. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you are having a great day. Today has not been the best for me, but tomorrow will bring new opportunities, and I do look forward to embracing that possibility that lies ahead of me. Many times before, I am sure you have heard me say that the two-party system, the two-party political system, is a joke. And for those who have not heard me state that, you are hearing me state it now. The theater greatly exceeds the bounds of reason, the political theater, that is. Let me state this before we continue. If you want to dip your toes or even throw your entire being into the toxic soup of psychological warfare, have at it. I address politics because we cannot get away from its ugly tentacles. It is a reality that is used against mankind. So, placing our heads in the sand is not good enough. Having superficial conversations is not good enough. Being lackadaisical in regards to our action is not good enough. Or applying apathy when we do act in regards to who we select or what we support is not good enough. I can add many more things to the list that is not good enough, but I think you get the picture. Don't get it twisted. My attention to this subject does not mean I buy into its nefariousness because I take the time to participate in a serious examination of it. Since I am bound to piss someone off, I will also contribute this for your deliberation. Democracy, socialism, and communism seem to be employed as mechanisms that do not honor individuality. The current application of each system seems to reduce mankind to a minor organism, a child, one that is merely marked by passions and appetites of the body. Of course, a pampered body, which totes around a civilized veneer. Unfortunately, a great number of us reinforces the assertions of these power brokers, bankers, heads of state, and their sycophants. Of course, since mankind for decades have allowed these ogres to mindfuck us and persuade us to believe, and to do virtually anything for them, well, we would be wise to go in a different direction, don't you think? Maybe inquire, what is the right combination that they have found, that they have cracked, in order to break into our psyche? Did they just dial in the right combination of brute force, addiction, falsehood, or terror? If so, how pathetic. Now, for those who have not pressed the escape button, let's continue. There is much more to be said. I have stated on many occasions that liberals, like conservatives, do not get a free pass from me. Many of them can be as vile and caustic as their politically symbiotic brothers and sisters. Maybe symbiotic is not the proper word that I am searching for due to my reasoning that their relationship surely is beneficial to one another. This said, I remember back when Bush Jr. was in office. I also remember when Americans were screaming for his quick escorting to the back door. Many could not wait to reduce him to a distant memory, me being one of them. However, when it was obvious that the puppeteers were going to supply a democratic copulation for the American public, well, I knew we could expect nothing but a continuation of the previous agenda, the agenda that truly never wavers. Liberal or Democrats are not the answer. I remember that they voted for the Bush-Cheney treasonous, grossly offensive, illegal, anti-Constitution, anti-Bill of Rights, Patriot Act legislation. Those fools even supported Bush's barbarous, repulsive Iraq war. They, the decision makers, the representatives of the Klan, like Republicans, continue to bestow to a country I deem to be even more racist than America billions of our tax dollars to continue building its thermonuclear arsenal, probably other wacky technology, all while carrying on this genocide of the Palestinian people. Even one of the liberals' darling mouthpieces, Michael Moore, had been reported as owning Halliburton stock. Get that? What a joke he is. Frequently, we hear about the liberal media. Honestly, folks, I do not comprehend how to distinguish what the liberal media is. I do know the liberal representatives on various forms of media, on various programs, like their right-wing brethren, are as problematic as the nutters on the extreme right. They all seem to qualify as a voice for privilege and power, not for the common man. The plan seems to be to suppress, distort, or sanitize truth. As stated previously in different videos, both sides of the coin appears to be a separate branch of the government. I am addressing the corporate media, no matter how it is expressed, no matter from what intellectual aspect or political aspect we wish to entertain. Rarely have I observed an earnest effort to generate discussion with a critical spirit regarding social and political concerns. I do, however, see them harmonizing with the construction and fortifying of vices, no matter if that is deliberate displays of violence, convenient exaggerations, and repeated misrepresentations by which so much of the social commentary and political writing suffers. They do not even attempt these days to disguise news as opinion, but they do pass off opinion as news. They are more than willing to hide behind free speech as they inform you they have no obligation to be fair by presenting opposing views, etc. I know that I am fortunate in that many of my subscribers, even many of my critics, I am sure would agree that what we receive today as news is merely product. Just product. Yet we still allow them to hoodwink us and place us in a state of bemusement. For a group that barks at how bad the Republicans are, or various members of the right, a questionable amount of liberals do the same as their brethren. They do the same damn thing Republicans did when they supported Nixon, Bush Sr. or Jr., Ford or Reagan. Many ignore President Obama's contradictions, deceptions, and crimes, make countless excuses for his broken campaign promises, or they pretend he just did not make them to begin with. Yet, when I bring up his willingness, President Obama's willingness to secure permanent occupations, continue promotion of imperial wars, threatening those within the Horn of Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and South America, nothing is said. Well, frequently nothing is said. Sometimes excuses are rendered. Now, don't encourage me to address the shameless handouts to corporate favorites, including the Wall Street crooks, the illogical and potentially severely damaging move to flood America with undocumented immigrants, his pretense of being qualified to be America's president is astounding. Yet the liberals and Democrats sit on their hands as he panders to every lobby group imaginable, yet most of them are willing to remind you he is not the president of blacks. Well, I didn't know that. I just assumed he was president for all Americans, though he shuns blacks frequently. Yet they whimper now, speaking of liberals, not blacks, even though many believe that every American black under the sun is a liberal or Democrat, that they couldn't possibly be anything else. Anyway, excuse me, I went off on a tangent there. Let's reel myself back in. I am speaking of liberals. when they previously screamed when Bush Jr. did many of the same things that Obama is doing now, just in his own special way. When Obama watches the ravenous, impoverished, the homeless, the jobless suffer. Yeah. So now, is wrong action qualified due to the group or the individual? Or are we willing to turn our back on various egregious acts just because one is a member of one group and yet not a member of another? Funny how that works. The way to defeat the extreme liberal is the same as battling the nutty right-wingers. I think they do not see the best in mankind. Honestly, I don't think that they do. Only the worst potential. Do think of the worst as mankind's animalistic nature put into full swing. So we must balance this with the best that mankind can offer. We must take away their justification for criminal activity and poor judgment, understanding they will do what they want to do anyway. But we should not make it easy for them to do so. This is what should be fashionable, promoting what is best within human beings. If we see the merit of striving towards something beneficial and expelling those afflicted with mental derangement, we win. No matter your level of education, decent people have been duped and lulled into believing that this system works. Sounds good? It even appears good in certain cases. Yet by unleashing one's logic and releasing the groupthink, we can skate past this pseudo-good and surface, or I should say, extract the truth or allow it to emerge. If we hold ourselves accountable for the part that we play, as well as holding them accountable for the ills in which they create within our world, as we work to correct them, we generate a win for all of those still in possession of their sanity. Ideas that are contrary to one's political ideology should not be feared or suppressed, but examined thoroughly. Only then will we comprehend our possibilities as we act accordingly. The redemption of Western man will be found in honoring the individual. Also, quality cooperative movement, adjusting thoroughly to environment, but not allowing it to set the tone for the internal development necessary in order to bring a new paradigm that is positive for all into focus. And being consistent as we work on strengthening our own long-term memories and educating ourselves about the realities of how we have fallen short so we can prepare ourselves as we work at strengthening our emotional, mental, and physical bodies. This, among other actions, will dispel the lamentable liberal from our midst. Like it or not, the 7 pillars of human solidarity, meaning, and identity appears to be individuality. The remaining 6 are of group composition, and that is religion or lack of religion, nation, ethnicity, liberty, family, and private property. The question is, how does the actions, generally speaking, of today's influential liberals secure these pillars? Thank you for your attention. Be well.